Right now, the city of Johannesburg, once the vibrant city of gold, is facing critical service delivery challenges. President Cyril Ramaphosa has proposed establishing a presidential working group to address these issues and accelerate the restoration of Johannesburg to its former glory. With local and national leadership under pressure, this initiative aims to stabilise operations and prepare the city for major events like the G20 Summit. Now, today we speak with Funzi Ngobeni, Gauteng chairperson for ACTIONSA, to discuss the feasibility and potential impact of this proposal. Funzi, always good to speak to you as usual. A little worrisome that the president has to get involved in the issues of Johannesburg. What's your take?
Thank you very much, Hugo, and good afternoon to your viewers. Look, as ACTIONSA, we do acknowledge his visit, and we appreciate that he has eventually recognized that Johannesburg it's an important economic hub in our country and in Africa, and that there is a need for really action to be taken in turning around the city. But what we really want to reject outright, Hugo, is another bureaucratic working group, that will apparently, miraculously resolve the deep-seated problems of service delivery in the city. We are of the view that we do not have a crisis of lack of commitment in the city. We have a crisis of lack of political will to implement, the real change that is required in the city of Johannesburg. And that is coming from the current, governance, leadership, the executive mayor and his team in really taking decisive actions to deal with the issues. But Hugo, I think we must also be fair and be honest that many of the challenges in the city of Johannesburg are as a result of the failure of the national government. The big issue that the president was referring to, which is the inner city of the city of Johannesburg that is really dilapidated, where people are really living in squalor, are as a result of the national leadership failing to deal with illegal immigration that is actually happening in Johannesburg and in many other inner cities in the province. So it will really need national leadership to look at itself as well. And when they do this working group, which it seemingly is a decision that has been taken, that national group must also include the Minister of Home Affairs, because it is some of the challenges really comes from that front. But of course, the Minister of Police, because and lawlessness that is happening in the inner city and also around the city of Johannesburg is as a result of the failure of SAPS and the failure of the Minister of Police, the current one, the previous one, in ensuring that the police are well equipped and they are working very close with local law enforcement agencies to get rid of the illegalities that are happening in the city. So in a nutshell, we don't think a working group is a solution. But if it is there, it must really be a working group that will be decisive in their action, that will hold the mayor and the executive accountable, and that will work in concert with the Minister of Home Affairs, the Minister of Police, to really deal with the challenges that we are having in the city of Johannesburg.
Funzi, the mayor of Johannesburg has promised not to disappoint the president again. What practical changes should we expect to see, do you think, in the next few months?
Look, there's no other thing that needs to happen. I mean, the residents of the city of Johannesburg know, and they've articulated what the challenges are, and the mayor knows them very well, and the premier knows them very well. In fact, the premier has even coined them as G13 problems. So they know what the problems are. They know what needs to happen. I think henceforth, all we want to see is them being on the ground, resolving those issues decisively, arresting criminals, enforcing bylaws in the inner city, making sure that the infrastructure projects that are happening in the city are being completed. I mean, the project that is happening in Lilian and Goy in the inner city of Johannesburg, it's been delayed, and contractor after contractor coming on. They know that there's corruption happening around that issue. They need to uproot that corruption. We need to see people arrested. We need to see officials that are messing around with procurement processes being held accountable. That's what we want to see. Action. We want to see really boots on the ground. That's what the residents want to see. They don't want to be spoken about bureaucracy, about working groups that will be sitting in offices and coming up with all kinds of strategies. I think all what we need, it's a strategy that will enforce the law, the strategy that will bring political will into action. And that's what the residents want to see of the city of Johannesburg. And of course, we know that some of these interventions is as a result of the international travelers coming, the G20 coming into Johannesburg. We want to put this very clearly, Hugo, to the president, the premier, and the mayor, that we're not going to accept cosmetic, interventions that are not going to make a difference, that are not going to be sustainable in their nature. Yes, it's important that we must put a good foot forward when we are having guests, but the most important stakeholders here are the people of South Africa, the residents of Johannesburg. If we're not going to come with interventions that are going to make their lives easier and that are going to bring economic growth and give them jobs and ensure that they are safe in their homes, and then those cosmetic interventions are rejected, and we will not tolerate those type of intervention. So we are hoping that this intervention is really an intervention that is going to make a difference, that is going to ensure that even after G20 is done and dusted, that we're going to still have water in our pipes, that we're still going to have electricity, and that we're still going to have roads without potholes and so forth. So that's really what we are expecting, and nothing less.
Funzi, very quickly, because we have to go. The president, in speaking around the issue of I think the 1.1 million individuals that should have been benefiting from the indigent fund and only 100,000 beneficiaries, spoke harshly. I mean, he said he was disappointed, even disgusted that at the level of failure by the Joburg government, if you will. Do you get the sense that President Cyril Ramaphosa will hold this group to account, and that we are likely to see changes imminently?
No, Hugo, I think we cannot blame our residents, the voters, and even us as opposition parties for being skeptical about the commitments of the president. The president, has been there, for many years. I think this is his second term as a president. He was there as a deputy president as well. He comes to Johannesburg almost every Monday when they're having meetings here at Luchili House. He knows the state of the city of Johannesburg. And when he starts saying, I'm shocked and I'm disappointed at this, we are skeptical, because this is a person that we believe that he knows about these challenges, and he's pretending.
Funzi, I'm afraid we've run short of time, but appreciate your sentiments, confirming that the skepticism exists. But the president has obviously given assurances, and hopefully the city of Joburg will attend to those issues. Funzi Ngobeni, ACTIONSA Gauteng chairperson.